If you've been waiting 5 years or more for your asylum interview with USCIS and you're sick of being in limbo with your life on hold, then I've got a solution, a mandamus lawsuit to force the government to schedule your interview. Look, I want you to understand not just what a mandamus lawsuit is and how it works, but more importantly, why getting your interview sooner can literally be the difference between winning and losing your asylum case. You see, that's the greatest benefit of using this powerful tool to get your stalled asylum case unstuck, increasing your chances for asylum success by getting your interview now. Stay with me to the end of this video because I'm going to address a question that I get all the time about mandamus. Could suing the government backfire, drawing the ire of USCIS and causing the officer to want to deny your underlying asylum claim? Well, I'm going to address that important issue and break everything down for you, and we're starting right now. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, well, my law firm helps immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending, or maybe you're considering applying. And listen, I'd especially like to hear from you if you've been waiting for an asylum interview for multiple years. Let me know in the comments how long you've been waiting. All right, let's start with the most important thing that you need to understand about mandamus lawsuits. They're not just about ending your wait, they're about improving your chances of actually winning asylum. And that's what really matters, right? You see, the sooner you can present your case to an asylum officer, the better your chances for success. You see, the more time that passes between the incidents that form the basis of your asylum claim and your actual asylum interview, well, the harder it becomes to win your case. And there are two main reasons for this. First, asylum officers are trained to be skeptical. And so when you're sitting across from an officer explaining, that someone harmed you or threatened you years ago, well, the officer is thinking, okay, yeah, but that was a long time ago. Why should I believe that someone still wants to harm you, now after all this time? You see, the officer may wonder if the threat has dissipated. They may question whether your fear is still objectively reasonable after so many years have passed. Now, as a former asylum officer myself, I can tell you this is how they tend to think. Well, yeah, I get it, some bad things happen, but that was so long ago, you'll probably be fine now. And this challenge becomes greater with every month that passes, and even more so with every year that passes. Now look, it's not fair, but that's how it is. Second, country conditions change, or they can at least appear to change in a way that undermines your case. Remember, asylum decisions are not made in a vacuum. Officers evaluate whether you face a real threat if returned to your country based on current conditions there. So what if there's been a change in government? Or what if new laws were passed that seem to protect people in your situation? Or, what if violence in your region has decreased, even if the underlying prejudice and danger remain? These kinds of developments can undercut your case, even when the reality on the ground hasn't truly changed for people like you. And the longer you wait, the more likely it is that something will shift in your country that an officer can point to as a reason to deny you. And I'm telling you, based on my experience of 11 years working for the government and now 6 years leading an asylum law firm, the sooner you get your asylum interview, the better your chances for success. Okay, so now you understand why timing matters so much. Let's talk about what actually happens when you sue the government in a mandamus lawsuit. A mandamus lawsuit is a legal petition filed in federal court demanding that the government agency perform a duty that it owes to you. Now, in this case, that duty is adjudicating your asylum claim. You see, USCIS has a legal obligation to act on immigration applications in a reasonable time. And when they fail to do that, well, you can sue them. So you're asking a federal judge to order USCIS to do its job and give you your interview. The process starts with filing a complaint in federal court. Now, this is a technical legal document explaining that, you've been waiting for too long and explaining why you're entitled to relief under federal law. Look, this isn't something you should try to do yourself, honestly. Federal court proceedings are complex and unforgiving. One mistake can get your case dismissed. So I strongly recommend hiring an experienced attorney for mandamus cases. Okay, once the complaint is filed with the court, we serve the lawsuit on the defendants, which basically means that we send them a copy of the lawsuit putting them on notice that we're suing them. Now, this typically includes the Department of Homeland Security, USCIS, and their respective leaders, along with the director of the asylum office handling your particular case. Now, after we've served all of them, the government has 60 days to respond. That means 60 days within which to tell the judge what the government's position is regarding the lawsuit. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In most cases, before those 60 days are up, a government lawyer calls and asks to negotiate. Now, they may try to act tough at first, but after some back and forth, well, they cave. They give us what we want, the asylum interview. Now, why does this happen? Well, because if you've submitted a solid complaint and you've been waiting for years, well, the government knows that you're probably going to win this lawsuit, and they don't want to waste time and resources fighting a losing battle. So they give in and they ask us to withdraw the lawsuit. Now, when this happens, we don't immediately dismiss the lawsuit. Instead, we pause it. We keep it alive to maintain pressure on USCIS to actually follow through with scheduling your interview and then to conduct it and then to issue a decision. You see, we only agree to dismiss the case once you actually have your decision in your hand. Now, in most cases where we file a mandamus lawsuit, our clients get their interview notice within those first 60 days. The interview itself typically happens about 1 to 4 months after we've filed the lawsuit. Now, sometimes it's faster, sometimes it takes a bit longer, but probably about 3 months on average. So after the interview, because we're keeping the lawsuit paused rather than dismissing it, USCIS usually issues the decision very quickly. We typically see decisions within a couple of weeks after the interview. Now, that's a huge benefit because many asylum applicants who got their interviews through normal channels, well, they'll wait months or even years for a decision after their interview. Now, what if the government decides to fight rather than giving in and scheduling your interview? Well, this does happen occasionally, and when it does, you're looking at probably a year or more before the judge issues a final ruling. But look, even that extended timeline is better than waiting indefinitely without suing. So what's your role in all of this? What do you have to do in one of these mandamus lawsuits? Well, when you hire an attorney for a mandamus case, the work falls almost entirely on the lawyer. This is not like preparing your asylum application and supporting materials and then preparing for your asylum interview, which all requires a tremendous amount of effort from you. With mandamus, well, my office does all the heavy lifting. You almost certainly won't testify or have to appear in court. It's all about what your lawyers do on paper and in negotiations with the government's lawyers. Okay, now you're probably wondering, well, okay, so who qualifies for a mandamus lawsuit? Well, the longer you've waited, the stronger your case. And at my law firm, well, we require that you've been waiting at least 5 years since filing your asylum application before we'll take your mandamus case. Could you potentially sue sooner? Maybe. Now, some attorneys will file after, let's say, 3 years, but look, we found that 5 years puts you in a really good position for success. Here's something else you need to know. We're so confident in our ability to get results that we offer a money-back guarantee. If we don't get your asylum interview notice within 150 days of filing your mandamus lawsuit, we'll refund your money. That's right. If you don't get your interview scheduled within 5 months of us filing the lawsuit, then you get a full refund. We're putting our money where our mouth is because we believe in this process and in this approach. Can't guarantee success in any case, and I need to be clear about that, but look, our track record speaks for itself. At the time that I'm making this video, well, we've filed over 200 of these lawsuits and we haven't lost a single one yet. So yeah, our clients love this tool because it works. Last thing, and this is important, will suing the government hurt your underlying asylum case? I get it. This is a fair question, as it stands to reason that USCIS might want to take revenge because you dared to sue them, but that's just not how it works. First, the officer who does your interview, they might not even know that you sued to secure your interview. When I was an asylum officer, we didn't know this. And even if they do know, well, they can't legally deny you based on that fact. They're not permitted to point to this as a negative factor in justifying a denial. And additionally, in the United States, well, litigation is a normal way to assert your rights. Officers understand that. It's just not a big deal. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, then please call my office today. That number is 713-909-0401. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us right now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's truly an honor to support you in your asylum journey.